So good evening and welcome everyone to Research Saturday by Climb. So this will be a panel discussion type webinar. So let's first start with the introduction. And so first of all, we have here with us Mansi ma'am. She is a computer engineering undergrad at DTU, and she is also an AI enthusiast and has received an SN Bose scholarship. She is also a Robotics Institute Summer Scholar at uh, Carnegie Mellon University and an intern at NUS Singapore and IIT Delhi. And along with this, she has also under her belt several publications at top tier conferences like AAAI, Into Speech, ECIR, etc. And she has also admits from various reputed universities like CMU, Columbia University. So welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much for being with us. Okay, so our next guest is Ayushi ma'am. She is a fourth year student at IIIT Delhi, and she is a part of inclusive design research at Melange Lab at IIIT Delhi. Also, she has worked in the domain of HCI4D at Technology for Emerging Markets, MSR India in the past. So I welcome you, ma'am, and thank you for giving us our time.
Thank you. Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, so the
So
next.
now Ayushi will introduce the next panelist.
So the next speaker on our panel is Ms. Kashvi Srivastava. She is an alumnus of DTU. She was the department topper in mathematics and computing and also the student president of the DTU chapter of the Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics. Now an upcoming PhD student in applied mathematics at the University of Michigan. She went on to be a research intern at University of British Columbia after bagging the prestigious MITAX Global Link Research Scholar. We welcome you, Kashvi ma'am, and we are glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction.
Yes, ma'am. So the last speaker for our panelists is Ms. Gargi Balasubramaniam. She is a computer science graduate from BITS Pilani, Goa. Currently, she is a software engineer at Microsoft. Her research interests lie in applications of machine learning in augmenting human intelligence. Previously, she was a research intern at the American Express ML and AI Lab. In the summers of 2019, she was a DAAD scholar at the Technical University of Munich, Germany. Based on this work, she presented her paper at ACE 2019, San Diego, California, and took third in the ACM Student Research Competition. She was also offered the MITAX Global Link Scholarship. Gargi is an enthusiastic programmer. Her team stood first at the Smart India Hackathon 2019 for a problem statement by ISRO. She also bagged an honorable team mention at the Singapore India Hackathon 2019. Apart from academics, Gargi is a music buff. She is a trained Hindustani classical vocalist and a trained Bharatanatyam dancer. She enjoys arranging musical performances and has been an active member of the Music Society at BITS Goa. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Really nice to be here and talk to you all.
Okay, so I'll start with the first question for the panel. So you all have done really great research internships. So if you could kindly tell us briefly about them and how you like your story about it and how the application process, interviews got to you. And so we'll start with Mansi Agarwal, ma'am.
Right. So I had two scholarships, SN Bose and RIS. So I'm going to talk about both of them briefly. SN Bose is merely a scholarship which provides you like a stipend of about 2,500 USD, a round trip airfare, and some health insurance. That's it. That's the role of SN Bose scholarship, to give you the means to be able to pursue research in the United States. A major function of yourself is to actually find a mentor, a perfect fit, um, and that is how risk comes into the play. So I got in touch with a CMU mentor, and as soon as I got in touch, the risk results came out, and I got into risk as well. So I did not have to actually choose between the two. I got lucky and I got connected with a CMU mentor, so risk also happened alongside SN Bose. Now, had I had to choose between SN Bose and RIS, I would choose RIS. The reason why, because RIS is like a complete package. You do research, but you have like workshops from pioneers like UBTech, DJI, Uber, and you have a proper cohort where you have like weekly, Wednesday lunches, you go out together. So it's like you're exposed to a lot more things than just research. You make good friends. Whereas on the other hand, SN Bose would have been just limited to my mentor, that's my professor, and me. So RIS was great. Coming to the a point where how did I get into either of those? I'd like the other speakers also speak about their experience, but I think for SN Bose, there are like 3 steps majorly. The first one being getting an NOC from your university. Once you get the NOC, you go ahead and apply on the SN Bose portal, where you are asked about personal details, your passport details, and you're asked to submit 2 essays. One's your statement of purpose, the other is your personal statement. So what are the difference between the two? Statement of purpose is primarily research oriented, like what projects did you do, what did you learn from those projects, what were your contributions to the project, and why you're fit for the scholarship, and why the scholarship is fit for you. So it's so you describe that in your SOP. Whereas in your personal statement, you describe about your own personal growth, like who are you as a person. So some universities, like even for your master's or your PhD, some just ask for a statement of purpose. So you'll have to combine both these things into a single essay. But for example, UC Berkeley asked for 2 separate essays, so it was easier for me to distinguish between the 2 parts, describing how I am as an academic student and how I am as an individual. So that's how about it. And I got lucky that I did not have any interview of such. My CME mentor just held a chat meeting where he just asked me like about my projects to see if I'm a legit person or not. And that was it. It was a very comfortable conversation between my professor and I. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. If Ms. Ayushi ma'am can go next and tell her about her experience and application processes and all.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so my research internship at MSR was basically in the technology in emerging markets group. So there are like more groups, for example, ML, NLP group, and systems group. But mine was in technology in emerging markets. So I'll just give a brief about it. So this is a field where this is a group where actually all the fields of CSE, they play their role in order to do something for the social good. So in other words, they actually work on socio-technical systems, and they involve designing technologies situated in the context of people to basically solve the problems that these communities face. Now, the topics, for example, are like health, medication, and online education, or financial inclusion, uh, designing user interfaces for low literate people, and agriculture, and all this stuff. So so my work was particularly in the area of financial inclusion, where I not only worked on a technical aspect, which had some open source component and development, but also it involved a part of a human centered design research, where I was involved in making interview questions, doing data analysis, etc. So, like, I don't know if all of you like it's HCI is known a lot or not, but yeah. So this is a place where you do good to bring out good with the help of computer science. So now how I got it was like now prior to this I was like working on a BTech project of mine which was related to designing for low literate users, and like this involved a lot of reading research papers and publications. So while going through that I got to know, okay, so MSR is a like place where this work is done a lot for to leverage technology for uh, people who are of low resource background and stuff. So uh, it so happened that our alumni from my college, they were actually working at MSR, and as soon as basically they get an opening, they put it on sometimes on triple IT group. So I got to know, and then the thing that works at MSR is getting recommendation. That is the word of mouth from, and so I took help from my professor that if he could recommend me and stuff, and then basically I was in the radar of to be eligible for interviews and stuff. So they saw my research component as well as the technical component, and on the basis of that I was made to do like there were 4 rounds of interview, because actually there were like 2 people in that team specifically working on that project, and there were 2 technical rounds which involved doing coding and stuff. But like they were asking me questions and then accordingly I had to do. And the third was a development round where I had to they gave me a repository, GitHub repository, and I had to do stuff. They gave me 2 days and like I had to do that thing. And fourth one was with the like senior researcher over there, and they like that was more of what is my research background and like what work am I doing right now and all that stuff. So interview experience was actually very good and I really enjoyed that. And after that, like yeah, so then after all these rounds and all this stuff, I got in MSR. So yes.
Okay, ma'am, that's really nice to hear about your experience. And now, if Kashvi ma'am can go next.
Sure. I don't know. Somehow the sun is shining top of my head. But I'm sorry
It
to
actually
be
looks really nice.
weird video. Yeah. So about MyTax Global Research Internship, I would say that MyTax is a Canadian organization which basically hosts many such programs. Globaling is one of them. There's also one called Accelerate. There's one called Graduate Fellowship and all of that. So there are many such programs which basically try to enhance the quality research at Canadian institutes. So Globelink is basically a program which invites undergrad students from around the world to conduct research at Canadian institutions. And you have like 8 weeks to 12 weeks of summer internship there under Canadian professors. And as Mansi said, there is a need of actually engaging in a cohort rather than just being in some research, in one room doing your research under one professor. So MyTax does that. So MyTax puts you in contact with many people. You have mentors, you have other scholars, you have PhD students from that particular university, you have your professors, and you can go to attend conferences, and you have these meetups and all of that. So MyTax is really good at that. And then for the application part, I would say that MyTax is very structured. It is very well planned out. There are a lot of components, just as you would, include in your graduate applications. But other than that, the one thing that really makes MyTax stand out is the pool of projects that it offers. So while applying for MyTax, you put in all your details, right? You put in your GPA, you put in your education background, your CV, your project statements, as she mentioned. But one different component is that MyTax actually offers a huge pool, like thousands and thousands of projects on its portal itself. So you go there and you filter out the projects that you think that might get you in. So this is the point wherein you can actually mold your entire application as to where you think that you have the highest chances of getting in. So you have to select the projects on the basis of, I would say, prerequisites. The professors always mention whatever they're looking for in a student, so you can select on basis of that. You can select on the basis of the profile of the professor himself, right? You can select on the basis of whatever project description is there. So the professor mentions what kind of project he wants to work on and what work he's offering to the student. So if the project really interests you, then you should apply to it, and you should also look at factors like competition. You should also look at factors like the outcome of the project. Some professors, from my personal experience, I saw some projects which directly said that this would result in a paper, and some said that your project will be continued by the next people who are in his lab or who are coming in for an internship. So you can look into these factors. So yeah, so I would say that selecting the projects very properly and giving the most time to selecting projects would be one thing, which is different from MyTax. And other than that, the process is like really smooth. Once you send in your application, you get in the results of the first screening, I would say, which is done by the MyTax organization itself. So they go through your application and they see whether you're eligible or not, you are a good candidate or not. And after that, if you pass through the first screening, then your application goes on to the professors that you selected. So whatever 7 projects that you selected, your application goes on to them, and then the professors might or might not call you for an interview. So as you asked, my interview experience was like very smooth. It is not like the technical interviews that we face in here, right? So all the interviews were like very casual and just basic discussions of the projects that they're offering. And they just and also there's like one thing that I'd like to mention is that your selection of the projects might decide whether or not you get an interview call. So it is not necessary to get an interview call. You might or might not get it depending on the competition. You might get directly selected for a project without an interview, or you might get directly rejected without an interview. That can happen too. So for me, so I applied for 7 projects, and I guess 2 of them were under the same professor because I really liked his work. And so out of the 6 professors, I got interview calls from 5 of them, which I think is a sign of direct matching to my background, because all the professors thought that maybe she has a good fit for the project. So I got in calls for those, and most of those were like very casual discussions. They just asked my background, and they clarified some of the points which were not very clear in my application. Like I remember one subject I had was called Math 3. So there was Math 1 and Math 2 in my first year, and one was called Math 3, and they were like, what is this? Like, what did you study in this? How do I know? I was like, right. So I explained the entire subject, whatever I covered in that. So these all things might be asked. They might explain you the requirements of the project and whatever they're looking for. And some professors even try to familiarize me with the place. He was like, yeah, this place is very nice and the people are very nice and all of that. And yeah, so the only so I had only one technical sort of an interview where the professor asked me some math questions and some CS background questions and all of that, and that was the professor I ended up working with. But yeah, I mean, it might or might not happen with anyone. It's just that you have to be very thorough with your background, and you have to be very thorough of what projects you have chosen, so that the professor can know that you have researched thoroughly about the project and you really want to work on that. So yeah, MyTax is very structured and it is very planned out, I would say, to repeat my points. And the application just started yesterday. So if anyone's watching and interested, it started yesterday and the deadline is 23 September. So you can go and apply. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So next will be Gargi, ma'am. If you can tell about your internship experience.
Yeah, hi, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So everyone here has beautifully summarized one of the top research places and programs, and I think all of us do agree that it's almost like a mini master's application because you have recommendations, you have statements, you have professor fine day, and so on and so forth. So for context, I went for the DART scholarship and I also received the MyTax scholarship. And trust me, MyTax is a very convoluted portal. You have to order projects and be very clever. So very beautifully summarized, Kashvi. Now for DART, context about DART, DART is a cross of interaction between the level of MyTax and say the level of SN Bose, which just gives you the money. So DART is like MyTax. It's a German organization by the government of Germany, and they tell you they also have many other programs, and the one for which I went for was the WISE program, the DART WISE program, the Working Internships in Science and Engineering. So what they do is they tell you to find a professor in any one of the German universities, and you have to submit some documents saying that the professor is ready to host you as an intern for some X number of months, which is less than 3 months. And then DART will fund you in the form of a stipend, in the form of a travel allowance, and you get to do some occasional inter-DART meetups within Germany at some point, right? So for me, I think for all of us, in fact, to those of you who are going to apply, if you're going to go next summers, this is the time when everything really begins in full force because MyTax has just begun. And even for DART, so the way DART works is, as I said, you have to find a prof and only then can you go onto the portal and submit your application, right? So the crucial aspect here is to find a prof. And as it may seem very trivial in the first place, you'll be like, okay, I'll mail these people, I'll get some replies, and that never ever ever happens. So, and in fact, so let me just make you go through the common logic sense order. You scroll through universities, you scroll through departments, you find profs, you find their email IDs, and you mail them. You customize each email to some extent, but keep the meat of the email same. You bold certain words, you attach your CV and transcripts, and you're good to go. Now, the first 10 profs with whom you wanted to work will definitely not reply to you, which were your top research preferences. And then you will, keep on mailing, and you will mail, and you may end up mailing, even 50 to 100 profs. It really depends on person to person. So coming to me, in my case, I feel one very important suggestion while doing so is that once you've started mailing profs, it's very important to keep a track of when you send that email, and it's very important to send a follow-up, say after like 2 weeks of sending your email, because my prof with whom I worked was the one who replied to me with a follow-up saying he was very busy because he was traveling. So a lot of times profs miss out on your emails, and it's better if you if you keep following up with them at a comfortable time frame. So I had mailed many profs, and because of this timeline and because of this cascading, sending out these batches of emails, I was simultaneously interviewing with profs while mailing, so exploring all my options. And so, as you all have said, and this is very true, for foreign universities, interviews are not like, tell me how to sort this and tell me time complexity. They won't ever, they just want to know that you are a legit person, as Mansi said. They want to know that what you've written in your mail, you actually are that person. They will tell you about their project. So you have to be very inquisitive. You have to take initiative and understand, okay, hi, okay, you work on this. Okay, I see. And remember, research internship is not a time when you're very specific about your interests because it's just a stepping stone. So you have to be very open-minded. So in fact, my internship was not even in core machine learning. It was in software engineering, but applied ML in that scenario. So I feel that when you're mailing profs, be open-minded and these interviews that you land up with the profs, be very confident, be very calm, because they are not going to grill you like, very badly. And also remember, I think this may be covered later on, but it's always good to have 2 to 3 recommenders ready in case the profs ask you to send them in the middle of mailing, okay, even before going to the DART portal. So that's very important. So I had 4 offers by the time I ended up all my mailing. So I had offers from TUM, and I had offers from Karlsruhe and Max Planck Institute, one of them. So once you've chosen your application, you've told the prof that I'm coming to work with you, and he's agreed to you, you go to the DART portal. Now the DART portal in itself is one big weird application. It's not as straightforward. The good thing about it is that they ask you a lot of I won't say extracurricular, a lot of soft skill questions, like tell me in 150 words what do you want to become in future, or what else do you hope to gain from your DART experience, what are your extracurriculars. Okay, so you really need to stress on the fact that you are eager to imbibe the German temper, you are eager to stress upon the fact that you want to visit Germany, and the importance of Germany in the entire thing apart from your project. And the application was fairly simple. It required 1 recommender and some essay questions like these, which were not very, it wasn't a make or break a tiebreaker, but definitely it plays a certain role in shaping your image. Then your CV, resume, passport, transcripts, and like all other applications. And finally, the another thing which I found a bit weird was that they required you to mail all the documents by post to the DART Delhi office after you've submitted the application. So you had to print out all of the documents, and the letter of recommendation was to be printed by the prof, signed and sealed in a separate envelope, and then given to you to maintain the confidentiality. So it's a long process. But finally, in the end, when you're notified in around the Jan to March period, it's really rewarding. And from my experience at Germany itself, I would say that I found a lot of Dardians on myself, and I also went to inter-Dard meetups, and I had the money. So it was a very good combination of, not being too intrusive, but not being too, excluded as well. So it was a really nice experience, and I think we can cover other aspects as we go in the panel. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
It was very insightful. Everybody's answers were very insightful, and I'll